Say there, mister. Why can't we all just get along? What's up everybody, StevDeS here. As you may know, I'm a great fan of Overwatch and Team Fortress 2, a rivalry that exists even to this day. A lot of people complaining about how Team Fortress 2 is better and Overwatch is better, all this different stuff. All the time I thought, well, why can't we have both? But to the loyalists on the internet, I officially have the answer. That Team Fortress 2 is way better. Excuse me? Yeah, Team Fortress 2 was the one that started it. Hello, it's a classic. No, you can't say that. Overwatch has just perfected what Team Fortress 2 pretty much established. Hey, you can't use that argument. Team Fortress 2 has hats. Hats! So what? Overwatch has skins and loot boxes you don't have to pay for. Yeah, but you can't deny the fact that Team Fortress 2 has lasted a long time, and whenever people get tired of this fancy Overwatch whatever, they go back to roots, the classics. Team Fortress 2 is way better than Overwatch in that case. Especially with the inventory system. Oh, you got it all organized. I get to customize my inventory the way I want. TF2 may be a classic, but it's outdated. Overwatch has more characters, more differences in the plot, and it's a plot you can actually follow a lot easier. More characters, huh? Well, that must be really confusing when you're actually picking a main. I have 9 people to choose from and multiple different weapons to clear them up with. It's a hell of a lot easier than your pathetic Overwatch. Oh, you and your mercenaries, they all suck. Oh, no way, you suck. No, you suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck. You suck! Enough! Look, we're getting nowhere like this. Why don't we just make a story that merges in the middle? Like, fan fiction? Kinda, but more factually based. Alright, fine with me, but well, who's gonna start? I don't know, Schmidt, what's the title of the video? Well, then me first. Fine with me. It gives me more time to research for part 2. Ass. I have issues. As far as we know now, there's only a handful of Overwatch agents. Since Winston did the recall, there's of course Winston and Athena, the AI that works in the special. Then there's Tracer, Echo, and there's also Reinhardt and Brigitte. Oh, and Mei Ling as well. We cannot avoid the Ice Queen. These are all heroes that we've been able to confirm so far. You know, without a doubt, these are the heroes that probably rejoined Winston. Other heroes, such as Genji, Torbjorn, Hanzo, McCree, they're still kind of a maybe. They've been hinted at, but they really haven't been confirmed for anything. Overwatch's world and structure has a lot of different forces doing different things, so tracking down the original heroes would be a bit of a stretch, but here's my educated guess as to which heroes will rejoin Overwatch. To start out, Torbjorn's a given. Torbjorn would definitely rejoin Overwatch because, let's face it, his daughter is fighting, and his best friend Reinhardt is fighting. Why wouldn't he at least work in the background as an engineer instead of being on the front lines, just helping the team in a technical way, as opposed to being, you know, in battle? Next up, Pharah. But why, StevDeS? Pharah's part of the Egyptian military. There's no reason for Pharah to join. 2 reasons. 1, she wanted to join Overwatch as a kid. Ana wouldn't let her because of how dangerous it was. So why wouldn't she take the opportunity now? 2nd, she doesn't know if Ana is officially dead. Her body was never found, and since characters like Reaper from Talon and Soldier 76 is helping people, well, why wouldn't she try to find another Overwatch agent whose body did not even show up? 3rd, because this is kind of a stretch, she would probably want to do some good worldwide. What with the Omnic crisis happening again, I think that someone, especially Overwatch, the answer to prayer the first time, would need a little helping hand. Maybe a little bit of a flying demolitionist. I think the next hero to rejoin would be Mercy. Since Talon has Moira under their belt and she was aware of what Moira had in her arsenal and what kind of crazy experiments she did, yeah, I'm pretty sure that she would get back up on that. Plus, this would be about a couple years in the future as Overwatch is just starting to get back up, and seeing the support for Overwatch come back a little bit, I think she would be privy to rejoin her friends. Hey, they need a battle medic. McCree would probably join up around the time Echo does, on account of he probably just wants to keep his partner safe. And besides, it can't be that long if we're talking about the Deadlock Gang. He probably doesn't want to rejoin the Deadlock Gang, especially with how badly he pissed off Ash in the special. Yeah, I think he would go back to Overwatch all the same. I think the older Overwatch agents, like John Morrison over there, he's not going to come back to Overwatch. He's got a lot of other things on his agenda, like survival and killing Reaper. Yeah, he's kind of busy. Besides, a lot of the other Overwatch agents that were old when Overwatch was taken down, they're probably not excited that Overwatch is coming back. They probably want to stay out of it. When it comes down to cases like Reinhardt, I can see that, and Torbjorn has, again, the family connection, but other Overwatch agents that don't really have a family connection probably wouldn't come back to Overwatch. That being said, Genji wouldn't either. But StevDeS, you just said McCree would rejoin. Why wouldn't Genji? He was telling Hanzo to pick the right side. He was obviously telling him to join Overwatch. Unsubscribe! In Overwatch, there's so many factions at play. Which side is the right side? He was probably warning Hanzo that somebody's gonna come by to either recruit him or kill him. He needs to be prepared because he does care about his brother still. And for all we know, he was probably getting Hanzo to try to join him with Zenyatta, who is also not joining Overwatch because Zenyatta is his own monk. He's traveling, that whole shtick. But I don't think Genji was trying to hire Hanzo for Overwatch. Genji learned how Overwatch failed, and he doesn't want to be part of that again. Why would he want his brother to be part of that? Plus, there are two key factors in every Overwatch confirmed hero. There is, one, the coin being shown, the invitation to join, just like Reinhardt had in his special, and a specific mentioning of Overwatch being rejoined or brought back into it in every short special. Now keep in mind, I haven't read any of the comics, but I am aware of the specials, and I'm aware of what the background is for most of these heroes. Tell me, where is either in the short Dragons? Nowhere! Because Genji doesn't want Hanzo to join Overwatch. Genji doesn't want to join Overwatch. It's clear that because it was a debacle that tore down from the inside, it's not worth rejoining during this second Omnic crisis. Without a mention of what faction needs Hanzo, I can't see Genji actually try to join Overwatch and bring his brother to it, so I can't put fact to this. So, this is the team that we're dealing with. Let's go. Sometime after the team took out some rogue Omnics, as far as they could tell, out of Central America, Reinhardt and Brigitte comes back to base and shows just how damaged their shields ended up being from common bullets. This astounds Torbjorn, who honestly cannot tell why their shields malfunctioned in a way they did. These shields are wrecked. I mean, the symbol in the middle of Reinhardt's shield is pretty screwed up, and Brigitte's shield won't function properly. It's nothing he can't fix, but this metal that's stuck in the shields is kind of odd. He's never come across this metal before, and considering that these bullets are made of that metal, this is probably going to pose a problem in the future. So, what does he do? He doesn't really have the resources to do anything right now for Brigitte and Reinhardt, but he does know who does have the opportunity to find out where these bullets were made. And that person is Winston, along with his AI Athena. Naturally, the monkey comes up with a solution. They do find out where this metal is being produced in a facility somewhere in the American deserts, some ways off of Route 66, something like that, where this facility is mining this rare metal and putting it in these Omnics guns. Now, these Omnics are really odd Omnics. They looked a lot more human than the Omnics they know of. And with their different sizes, shapes, and different odd forms of weaponry, these Omnics really do mean business. This is a potential threat to the world. Overwatch has a full mission now. They can't let anybody in the world have this metal or use it for any other purpose. This is a metal that needs to be contained or destroyed. No other method. Farah comes forth and she volunteers to be the demolitionist for this mission, but Winston respectfully declines this offer. Farah isn't really equipped for an underground mission if it's a mine, and if it's a facility like a factory, she'd be better off on the outside making sure nobody got out and nobody got in. This was a destroy mission that Overwatch had to take some care with. They had to have someone experienced in this sort of infiltration and demolition. They can't just blow it up for the hell of it. They have to have a good reason behind it, and they have to be sure that at least one government is behind them on this. All the while, Winston is being sure that the American government has confirmation of this and is letting Overwatch take care of this. They have to get a treaty signed, all this other paperwork stuff, and I think May would be a very good sort of negotiator for this, but I think a talking gorilla would be just as good. McCree, smoking a cigar in the corner of the room as he commonly does, says that, well, if Farah's not going to be our demolitionist, who are we going to have? Nobody really has the training or the equipment to go into a facility like this and blow it up. Yeah, they're kind of in a pickle on that one. So Winston does the smart thing and gets Athena to look up the most common people they can possibly get with their limited resources in order to enact this plan. And she brings up 2 wanted posters from Australia and worldwide for that matter. That's right, I'm talking about the loudmouth simpleton Junkrat, along with his bodyguard Roadhog. Junkrat definitely has the proper hardware if they're going into a mine, and he also has explosives experience. So there's that. And it could also be an opportunity for Overwatch to gain a little bit of cred as far as bringing in a dangerous outlaw. And Roadhog's current arrangement with Junkrat could add to that. Both of them are wanted worldwide for stealing a lot of money. If Overwatch can bring in 2 of the most dangerous criminals, this will be a big boost for their cred, and it will give them the necessary bargaining chips they need to make sure that these 2 dangerous outlaws are definitely on their side. So, step 1, secure Junkrat and Roadhog. Step 2, infiltrate and destroy the facility. However, keeping up with the Junkers is going to be a challenge in this rate, so while Torbjorn is repairing the shields, he's also looking into giving Farah, Mercy, and Reinhardt a much needed upgrade. After the shield's repaired, McCree and Brigitte head on out to Australia. You know, gas masks on their heads. They kind of need to protect themselves from the irradiated wasteland. Even though Hammond is just fine. I don't know how that works. And lo and behold, their home base really isn't that far from Junkertown. So in order to keep away from the Junkers, they just head right there. They don't try to knock on the front door either. Winston had a plan and wanted to put it into action. Team A will consist of McCree and Brigitte on the back of a motorcycle that Winston had prepared just to keep up with the Junkers' mode of transport. They are to wait in the shadows until the Junkers leave their house and go on a joyride or something in order to combat them. McCree and Brigitte are hopefully going to be able to talk them into pulling over just to talk to them. They don't want to start anything. But Team B is led by Reinhardt. Reinhardt, along with Farah and Mercy, that's right, we're getting the cancerous Farmercy here, will be Team B just in case the Junkers aren't willing to comply. And keep in mind, the reason why Winston wants to go this route is to lure them as far away from Junkertown as possible. If some of those Junkers decide to get on top of them for trying to take Roadhog and Junkrat down, it could be bad, and they don't need to be known that they're in Australia. Luckily for them, they're not waiting very long, as Junkrat and Roadhog does that very thing in order to go out on a joyride. I mean, why not? They got that motorcycle in there. Why not use it? On their joyride, McCree and Brigida decide to come up beside them. Brigida riding on the back of the motorcycle, ready to deploy her shield in case the Junkers try to use anything. McCree, of course, decides, let's go ahead and be as neighborly as possible and give him a smile. Maybe it'll work out. Still not good enough. McCree tips his hat on the motorcycle coming up beside him and says, well, howdy, partner. You may want to pull on over. I got a proposition for you. Roadhog obviously smells a trap, so he decides he's not gonna have this. With one hand on the steering bar, seriously, what's it called on a motorcycle? I don't know. With one hand, he pulls out a junk gun and blasts at them, and that's when Roadhog gets a little bit of a shock. He wasn't expecting this futuristic technology to get in the way of that. Ooh, they have shields. Like the Omnics who came before the irradiated. Oh no. Since he's still Junkrat's bodyguard, he guns it, and McCree follows suit, telling Brigida to radio to Winston that it's time for Plan B. These Junkers aren't going safe. All the while, Junkrat's getting his grenades ready. He knows this is going to be a fight, and he knows that he has got to stop these people. Whenever Roadhog is freaked out about something, yeah, it's a good thing that he gets freaked out by the same thing. He starts loading grenades and throwing them out, shooting them out, and also throwing mines out, throwing whatever traps he has on him at the moment. He's ready for blood, and he wants these people off their backs. While the Junkers are firing at him, McCree pulls his revolver out, hands it back towards Brigida, and says, "Do you know how to fire this thing?" Of course, she does, and with one hand shielding, the other hand aiming through the shield, you know, sort of futuristic riot shield style, she's taking pot shots at the Junkers while they're riding down the street. It is nuts. And by the way, it's not really a street, it's more like desert dust roads. Either way, the battle is ensued, and she gets one hit, but it's not on the motorcycle. Instead, it's on a mine that Junkrat was able to throw perfectly, and after shooting it, it blows up in her face, and the shield goes down. Oh, this is not good. The shield was already taking a lot of flack, and now we have to wait for it to recharge. McCree does not like these odds, so he decides the best thing to do would be fall back a little further so he's got a little more breathing room to dodge the projectiles that Junkrat is throwing at him. Lucky for him, Team B is right on their tail, and they're catching up thanks to the enhancements from Torbjorn. With Reinhardt charging in, he's able to block just enough to keep the motorcycle behind them on par. At least until Brigida's shield is up. Farah's up in the air with Mercy, and she happens to be in position to take a good shot at the Junkers. Unfortunately, she sees something a little bit more shocking, something that could be devastating to their cause. Junkrat is preparing the rip tire. He's getting it to roll alongside the motorcycle, and he's got his little joystick in hand, and that's when Farah turns to Mercy and says, "Prepare me a damage boost." Farah gets the damage boost from Mercy and takes a few shots to try to destroy the junk tire, and it works. Thanks to Mercy and Thanks to Mercy, Overwatch wins this one, because after that, Farah decides enough is enough. Let's use a concussion blast. So they get in close, and poof! There goes Junkrat and Roadhog in a ditch. The Junkers are heavily outgunned, and Roadhog knows this is a dangerous thing. McCree approaches the motorcycle with his gun at the ready, after reloading it as quick as he does, and says, "You boys should have come with us to begin with. Now, why don't you come on out, put your weapons down, hands in the air. Or should I say, reach for the sky." And so step one is complete. They did it. They took down the outlaws, Junkrat and Roadhog, and brought him in. The Overwatch crew does agree that McCree is the most level-headed, so it's best for him to interrogate Junkrat and Roadhog and let them know exactly what they need them for. Besides, he's got the wanted posters. this is going to be a cinch, even if it wasn't McCree. But he does fill them in on what the plan is, along with saying that this metal here needs to be destroyed, and Junkrat's the right guy for the job. Roadhog wants to disagree and say that he is not going to put himself out there in any other part of the world. He just wants to relax in Australia and be done with it. McCree, you can take your offer and shove it. But he doesn't get to. In typical fashion, Junkrat sees how important he is, and thanks to his ego being stroked by the cowboy, he decides, hey, I want in on some of this.
Well now, it sounds like a big job now, doesn't it? But, what's in it for me?
And then he swiftly gets a punch to the shoulder.
Oh, what's in it for us?
McCree casually slides the posters in front of them, saying that if you guys don't, we'll be able to pay someone who will. Their capture commands a nice reward. Junkrat, in typical joking fashion as he does, picks up his picture, looks at it, and says,
They didn't get my good side.
Roadhog unfortunately has to agree because now they could be incarcerated because they were captured. That's not good. Well, StevDeS, why didn't you have them capture Junkrat and Roadhog and then sell the two, and then they could have gotten, I don't know, the Demo Man, because the Demo Man's a mercenary? Here's the thing, I didn't want it to be that easy. I wanted Overwatch to have their people, and in the second part, tell the Manco story. And by capturing those two, Overwatch has all the bargaining chips they're gonna need. So there we go. Will Overwatch be successful in this mission? What kind of metal was being thrown? Also, what kind of Omnics were they fighting? What other forces do you think might be at work knowing that Overwatch is having trouble with these Omnics? Like, comment, and share the video if you're interested, and keep in tow for part 2, wherever the other me went. So, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!